person, and I can't thank him enough for supporting me and the Pirates, and I just applaud him and tip of the cap to him. And I think the Pirates are going to reward him and Pirate fans for their loyalty this year, because I think we're in for a really fun season.
Yeah, we really are, and we've been watching things that have been happening in Bradenton. It's very early in camp, and guys are just starting to get stretched out a little bit of extra drama that nobody wanted to see, but we had that happening in camp this week with the 68-year-old gentleman who had the cardiac arrest situation. Boy, wasn't that neat to see the Pirates medical team, those spring into action?
Oh, it could have been, don't even like to. In fact, I was there. I was leaning up against a golf cart, talking with our equipment manager, Scott Bonnet, who was in the driver's seat, our medical the director of AGH, our medical staff, Pat DeMeo, orthopedic surgeon, was in the passenger seat, and I was kind of leaning up against talking to Pat beyond the would be the right field fence of field number 2, and over in field number 1, all kinds of activity goes on, Todd, all fields, all 4 fields, and even the side fields. Jeff Podobnik, who runs Pirate City in Bradenton, was frantically yelling, waving for anybody, including the golf cart in which Scott Bonnet was driving and Pat DeMeo was in the passenger, to get out into left center field. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden they just took off, spun, tires spinning, dirt flying. And Pat jumped when he got to this gentleman who's sprawled out, and I saw the guy just flat on his back, not moving. We didn't know who it was initially. Initially, I thought it might be a coach, because they were all wearing the same kind of garb, including the members of the Chamber of Commerce who were shagging fly balls. Pat jumped out of this golf cart, and he started administering CPR to this guy, chest compressions. He was on it. And it seemed like, my gosh, probably a couple of minutes before they brought out the defibrillator and jump-started him, this gentleman. And then the ambulance came and took him away, and he's doing fine. But what you applaud the Pirates medical staff for being knowledgeable enough and getting it all done in a hurry and workmanlike fashion and reviving this man who was out. He was dead.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. We want heart-stopping oxygen, but not that kind.
I might have to use that line. And I will not credit you, Todd, but just so you know, feel good about it when you hear it.
You're always stealing my stuff, Greg.
That's right.
Hey, the pitchers have been there for a while longer, but the position players have practically been there almost as long. So your first impressions, who's throwing the ball well? Who do you look at and you say, wow, I'm glad to see him here? And it really is, it just seems like a different feel with all of these young guys coming back and then some veteran leadership coming in too.
Well, yeah, first of all, it actually, these guys all got here way before camp even opened, which is a story in itself, that they took it upon themselves, veterans and young players alike, to be there before the organized camp started, which I don't remember the last time that happened. I think with the exception of only a couple of guys that couldn't get there, maybe from other countries, but everybody was anxious to get started. And then the buzz that, of course, that McCutcheon brings, there's so many storylines that we can get into next week. But somebody asked me yesterday about what pitcher has been looking good, and we're kind of chuckling about the stories we've read in the various websites and papers about this pitcher looks good, that pitcher looks good. Someone reminded me, Jim Leland, years ago when he was managing the Pirates, one of the coaches said, so-and-so looks really good here in camp at Pirate City. And he said, let's reserve judgment on any of our pitchers or players until the guys in the other uniforms show up, which is a great Leland line. And that starts tomorrow with the first game of spring. So I think we'll get a real good idea. Mitch Keller will start tomorrow, and we'll start to get an idea of which pitchers look pretty good.
Well, one of the things about Jim Leland and about spring training is, you see guys that put on the Pirate uniform again. Jim won't be doing that, but you see guys that put on the uniform again and walk around, and it seems like old times, and the memories come back. I remember when Chad Hermanson came and Jim Leland said, "They keep sending me athletes. I wish they'd send me ball players."
That's exactly right. He always used to say, I would tell him I used to think I knew what was going on when it came to fan engagement, and I said to Jim, I said, if you just got a bunch of hard-nosed, blue-collar guys on this team, Jim, people will come out and support this team. And he goes, Greg, people want winners, and you give me, I don't care if they're good or bad guys, you give me 25 jerks, and he didn't use the word jerks, give me 25 jerks who can play, and I'll win with them. And it's so true. Give me ball players. And thankfully, the Pirates are, getting true, legit ball players back in this organization and on the big league club this year.
Oh yeah, and you see them all over. We'd love to have seen something from Termarr Johnson. That won't happen for a while now. But man, you get a look at O'Neal Cruz again, and you get an extended look at him this year. And folks are so excited about him, and they make such a big deal about how he's a unicorn. You don't see guys like this anymore, but it's actually true in this case.
Well, Andrew McCutchen called him a freak. He said, when he was last year with the Brewers, he said guys would stop and stop what they're doing just to watch what he's going to do at the plate, because you just don't know. You're going to see something you perhaps have never seen before in your life when he's out at the plate or actually in the field. And some Pirate pitcher pointed out to me this winter, he said, if you get a chance, watch the bullpens when Cruz comes to the plate. He said both sides will stop what they're doing and lean up against the fence and watch, because they don't want to miss it. It's cliche-ish to say the sky is the limit, but it's really, really true with him. I don't think there's a doubt, at least not in my mind, that someday, and it could be this year, who knows, this guy's a 40-homer, 120-plus RBI guy. Pirates haven't had that since Stargell. Now, when that happens, I don't know, but I do know this. If we saw him in mid-June last year, he didn't start the season until middle of June. He missed 2.5 months before he got promoted, and yet he still put up really outstanding rookie numbers. Who knows what he's going to do when he figures out the pitching and puts a full year in. So he's just one of the many reasons I'm looking forward to this year.
Yeah, well, the first radio game is going to be on Monday. You have Joe Block running sprints right now to get ready for it?
He is. Pitchers and catchers reported February 10th. Announcers and color analysts reported on February the 23rd. Block is just now out of the blocks this morning running those sprints, so he will be ready on Monday.
I could see someone like Walkie looking at Joe Block. And you could actually picture Joe Block trying to do something like that.
100%, Todd. 100%. That is no exaggeration. You could absolutely. In fact, it's been done before. Someday I'll tell you about a late-night walk around the White House we had several years ago, a handful of us, including Bob Walk and someone from our television crew. And you're talking very late at night after several libations, back to our hotel, and a sprint broke out.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and Bob was part of it because someone dared him to sprint, a younger member of the television production crew, and here they are racing a sprint down Pennsylvania Avenue.
Boy, I hope Dr. DeMeo was with the team then.
He should have been, because Walk didn't last but 5 feet. He went down.
Beautiful. What a beautiful story. The story.
True. Yep.
All right, spring training is here. Greg Brown, it's going to be so much fun listening and watching the Pirates, and to you fellas as well. Greg, thanks for joining us this morning. We'll look forward to the next visit.
Talk to you Monday. Thanks a million, Todd.
There's Greg Brown with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and brought to you by A&A Construction and by Delaney and Fritz PC.
For more than 40 years, business owners and families in Western Pennsylvania and statewide have relied on Delaney and Fritz PC to protect their interests when it comes to legal issues. buying or selling a home, filing for divorce, change in a child custody or support, recovering from a car accident injury, estate planning, or probating the estate of a parent or loved one, you can turn to the law firm for legal solutions that stand the test of time. Delaney and Fritz, voted best law firm, estate law, and title company in the best of Indiana County in 2022.